Hey everyone, welcome to Soul Kids, the place to be for nannies in the know. I'm your founder and CEO, Alethea Gomez, and we get to have some fun today and talk all about play. Facts for Life Global recently teamed up with Yale University and found that the best way to grow a child's brain is to interact with them. So in basic terms, guys, when you play with kids, they are learning. Sounds pretty simple, right? I'm gonna give you 5 ways that you can maximize learning and fun when you're working with kids. All right, first guys, we're gonna go back to the beginning. There are certain foundations of play and ideas about play that you need to be aware of in order to be truly effective in your interactions with kids. So let's talk about a few of them right now. We're gonna get in the classroom a little bit, but bear with me and I'll show you some really cool stuff. Here at Soul Kids, we're not just watching children. We're raising the next generation of leaders, independent thinkers, and problem solvers. So we want to know the original theories that helped us to find out what we know today about intentional play with kids. All right, the first thing I want you guys to know is that the number one way that children learn and grow is through play. It's the one thing that's widely agreed upon in every educational system that provides the most benefit to children. And there's a few things I want you to know about that. Play is the most widely recognized and most effective method of learning for children. When children are playing, they are reenacting their experiences, practicing life skills, and learning how to operate in a group or a community. Have you ever gotten to a family's house with 2 different aged children and wondering what you can do to keep them both engaged and happy? What might be fun and interesting for a 7-year-old may be completely overwhelming for a 3-year-old. So what we're gonna cover is the different activity hacks that you need to know in order to keep every kid having fun and learning every second that you're in their home. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is master the basics. Now, while there are certain activities that are going to be just appropriate for one age group, there are thankfully universal materials that every single kid can use and have fun and learn to express themselves. So we're going to go over those right now. Number 1 is markers and crayons. Now, we all know how much fun it is to make art. There are so many opportunities for kids to express themselves and have fun using simple materials in the house. So number 1 I'm gonna say is markers. Number 2 is crayons. Number 3 is paints. If these items don't already exist in a home, talk to the parents about providing these materials, or better yet, bring your own so that children can be engaged and have something fun to do as soon as you arrive. Now, blocks are so amazing, you guys, because you can literally let your imagination run wild. I've built forts, I've built castles, I've built kitchens, and I've built airports just working with blocks. If you follow a child's lead, you will be amazed at what you can create. Blocks are actually used in therapeutic situations with children that have disabilities. Professionals use blocks as therapy because they're a completely blank canvas that any child can learn to play with. Number 3, what I'm going to talk to you about is knowing your age groups. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what kinds of activities are best for each age group. So let's look at our table of activities, and I'm going to talk about each age group and what might be fun for them. So infants through age 2 are still learning to practice certain motor skills and getting used to certain materials. You might notice that a 1-year-old puts everything in their mouth and needs larger objects in order to master them. Without overwhelming a child, you want to give them opportunities to practice skills and raise their level of learning just a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to show you is these really cool palm grip crayons. You can get them at any store for less than $5, and it's a really cool way to let a young child explore without creating any danger. So if you just take out one of these crayons and hand it to a young kid with a blank piece of paper, they can play and scribble and do everything they want to do. What you're doing is allowing the children to be creative and free without creating too many boundaries or rules. This lets the child learn how to be creative and have fun at the same time. All right, guys, let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, toddlers. Now, when you're dealing with toddler-aged kids, and we're thinking about 2 to 4 years of age, up to about preschool, you're going to be dealing with kids that are really establishing their independence and learning how to explore in their environment. The The other thing that they're learning to do is to master more detailed skills like holding a pencil, using a marker, and writing their name. So some of the materials that might be more fun for this age group would be our paintbrush set and the ever popular tempera paints. So one of the suggestions that you can add to this age group who understands conversations better is to ask them to draw a picture of themselves or a picture of you. This is a great first time activity if you're just meeting a kid, because it's a really fun way to see how they perceive themselves and also to see their point of view on you. So just a few paintbrushes and some paint can create an endless number of activities. You can draw the sky, you can draw the plant, you can draw or paint parents so that they have a portrait of themselves when they come home. It's a really fun activity. We're talking a lot about art right now because creative expression is a really important thing for children to develop when they're building their self-esteem and confidence. Okay guys, the next age group that I want to talk about is preschool through early adolescence. So that's going to be ages 4 through 7. These are kids that might be in a kindergarten program or already in first grade. And the really great thing about this age group is that you're able to have a lot more fun with them in the areas of games and activities because you can start getting a little more complex. So I want to show you this really cool book that we found. It's called Ice Cream Party. And in it, it's going to give you a lot of different directions on how you can make some fun treats with the kids that you're working with. So like this one is frozen chocolate covered bananas. So it's a multi-step process that might get a little messy and crazy with a 3-year-old, but with a 5 or 6-year-old, you're gonna be creating cooking skills, you're gonna be working together, and you're gonna be having a lot of fun with a delicious result. All right, guys, let's talk about 7 to 10-year-olds. A lot of you are working with younger kids, but this age group I want to touch on because it's really fun. 7 to 10-year-olds are really ready to start using strategy in competition, and they're really ready to do their own thinking when coming up with activities and games. One of my favorite things to do with kids this age is to play Uno. This is a game that you can start around the age of 7, and you can play with the entire family. What it does is helps kids to have a lot of fun, but also learn how to make choices and learn the next step. So when you're playing this, you can do all sorts of things like include prizes, help them to earn something for the family, or just have fun. There are so many possibilities of what you can do with children. We only had time to cover a few today, but when you visit our website, you'll find an entire list of things that you can do with kids at all different ages. No matter what age group you're working with, point number 4 is get creative. I'm going to talk to you about some fast ways to fight off boredom and make activities that every kid is going to love. I've just shown you materials that are already available to you to use in activities with kids, but what about things that don't already go together? I'm going to talk to you about materials in your house, in your kitchen, in your room that you can put together to make super fun and creative activities for kids. The first one I want to talk about is in the kitchen. Find 5 materials and pick them at random. This is a great exercise to do right now that you would never put together in a normal situation. Let's say salt, spaghetti, chocolate chips, a bowl, and some whipped cream. So what can you do with these activities? Finding a way to put them together to make a witch's potion, a tower. This can be a super fun way to get kids out of their comfort zone and use their imaginations in a super fun and sometimes messy way. Number 5 is let the child lead. There are so many things that children can teach us and tell us, and all we have to do is listen and follow. When you're working with kids, make sure you ask them to use their imaginations. Make sure to ask them what they're interested in and what they find fun. It can be really exhausting sometimes to have to come up with every single thing that you're going to do with kids. But if you ask just a few simple questions, you'll find new and exciting opportunities that you never even imagined. I ended up doing all the scenes in a Toy Story movie one day because the little girl I was working with was absolutely in love with the characters in the movie. When you get excited about what kids are excited about, you can have an amazing and fun day without doing any work at all. If you want to find out how to become an activities rock star, visit our website at soulkids123.com.